Hello, welcome to another episode of Life Stories with Yaira. Something happened to me about a decade ago. It's such an unpleasant experience which I don't like talking about, but I'll share this with you. I was in the University of Ghana then, but I wasn't living on the campus. I was living in a hostel outside the school, a place called Baoleshi. And my friend was also in another hostel close by. So there were days after lectures, she would come over to mine. Sometimes I go over to hers. And oftentimes when she comes to mine, we go to the cafe because there were cafes closer to mine. We would go to the cafe, just surf the internet. So it was one of such days. She came over to me. We went to the cafe, and the cafe was down past living room, down. I know, things have changed now. There are lots of buildings in East Legon. So I'm not very sure about the landmarks now, but that's the last landmark that I could remember. Anyway, we went to the cafe. We went there about past 9, 10 ish, and we got carried away chatting and surfing the net and doing all those things. By the time we came out of the cafe, it was dead quiet. The street was quiet, It was just a few people still selling across the road, and you see a few cars still coming to pass. So we were waiting for our taxi or trotro, but hardly. Those that would come was either full or they were not going towards where we were going to. And we were there, and a car, we stood there for quite some time. That the people in the cafe, there was a man in the cafe who was even suggesting, he said, look, my house is just close by, I've got rooms there, you people can come and stay over there overnight. We were like, no. So we stood there just hoping, and a car came to stop by. Gone were the days that people do give lifts as a goodwill, and there wasn't much fear like now. So this car stopped, and it was this gentleman, really well dressed, and he looked like a professional person from work. And he said, why are you people here? It's not safe, it's quite late, where are you going to? And we told him we were going back to our hostel. We had come to the cafe. He said, well, I'll drop you off. I don't. And we like, oh no, it's fine. Part of us was like, we don't know this person. Is he safe? And another part of us was like, we've been stood here for long. And being the father we were two, it wasn't like one person, we were two. We were like giving each other hope or, assurance that we should be okay, it should be fine. And this man went on to say, oh, University of Ghana, my cousin schools there, and he mentioned one of the hostels that the cousin was in. And he sounded like a well matured professional person. So we were like, oh, okay. So we hopped in. So on to the hostel. My hostel is the first hostel. So on getting there, I was pointing to him, this is my hostel. So you can drop us, and then my friend will find a means for my friend to go home, or she'll stay up. She said, no, don't. He was like, no, don't worry. Where's your friend's hostel? I'll drop her off and then come back and drop you. And I'm like, okay, then drop me. And as I'm talking, he's just driving. So he drove, we went, and then he dropped my friend. We saw my friend open the gates, the hostel gate, entered her hostel safe. And then he turned round, and he was just trying to assure me that I'm okay, everything is fine, he's okay, and he said, I'm hungry. I need to get some food. And I'm thinking, okay, drop me off and then you can go your way. So he said, okay, are you hungry? I want to go and get some food. I said, I'm not hungry, I'm okay. I was just praying and hoping that this man drops me safe and sound in my hostel or wherever that I could walk to my hostel. So he drove round somewhere, and I think this is a place that he usually come to buy food, because when he got there, he was sat in the car, and he told the woman whatever, and they served him this check. and he asked me if I wanted one. He actually bought some, because it was a pack of, I think he bought a pack of three or four. So after buying the thing, he turned round, and I was just hoping, okay, this man is going to drop me next. This man is not going. That wasn't the case. He just told me he's really tired and he wants to eat. He wants to eat. Gosh, at this time, I was just thinking, okay, let me open the door. And I tried just trying to act like I wanted to, but the door was locked. And he assured me again. He said, "You're fine. You're okay. I'm just going to go home, take a shower, eat my food, and I can drop you off if you want." I'm thinking, what is this game about? Gosh, anyway, at this time, he's still driving. The last place that I could really remember is he drove past the living room. So my hostel is further after the living room. He drove into this big house, really big house. Someone opened the gate. He entered the house and he said, "Oh, come down, come down." At this time, I'm thinking, and his attitude kind of changed a little bit to like more controlling and aggressive kind of thing. And he said, come down, I'm hungry. And I'm thinking, so this person, so I came down and I just stood around. I'm just trying to look out to see if I could maybe just walk out of the gate. And his gatesman was even locking the gates. And I stood there and he just held my hands, pulled me into a room. I entered a room and it was, I don't know, I think it was his living room. So I stood there and he was like, "Sit down, feel free, feel free." And he asked the man he asked his whatever, he said, "Oh, bring bed, bring mattress or something to the living room." And I'm thinking, so this man came. After a while, he came and he was telling me, "Oh, you know what? I'm a professional basketball player. I do travel to this place. I do this. Don't worry, you know." And then he was trying to convince me. He was trying to say things that you could see he wanted to have his way with me. And I wasn't giving in. At some point, he was struggling with me. He hit me on the floor. He pulled me. He was just, and I was also struggling. I was doing whatever I could do because it was like a shock to me. He tried, and I was also pushing, doing whatever I could do. And he left me in the living room. So for the rest of the night, I was there by myself. I was there by myself. I didn't know where he went to. He wasn't out of the house, but I think he's gone to another room or whatever. I was there, left alone on my own. And so he had asked the boy to bring a bed. So I was on that bed at this moment. I couldn't sleep. I didn't sleep throughout the whole night. I was wearing a white shirt, I remember, and a skirt, a jean skirt. My shirt became like a brown, with dirty fingers all over because of the struggle and all that. So in the morning,